Good Sunday morning, everyone. Welcome back to Weather with Sim again. I hope you guys are all having a great day so far. And in today's weather forecast, we're going to be going over the severe weather threats for today and tomorrow, but we're also going to be talking about more potential severe weather on the way, which will be in the later part of this video. So if you guys do like my new camera on my screen, guys, make sure to go ahead and press that like button down below. Also, make sure to subscribe to my channel, especially if you haven't already, so that way you guys can get accurate and professional looking videos on my channel. So as you guys can see, we do have an enhanced level 3 out of 5 threat for severe thunderstorms today across central Nebraska back into northern Kansas, but also extreme northeast Colorado will be included in the highest threat of severe weather for today. But we also do have that slight risk. That's a level 2 out of 5 threat heading as far north as the Canada border and as well as far down south into parts of Texas. So if you do live in the enhanced risk or even this slight risk, which is pretty much this yellow color, make sure you do have ways to receive alerts today. That includes Grand Forks, that also includes Sequoia Falls, back into Wichita, Kansas, Dodge City, Kansas, back into Amarillo, and as well as far down south as Lubbock, Texas will be in that slight risk. And then back over here into Goodland, Kansas, back into Hastings, Nebraska, and as well as North Platte will be included in that enhanced risk. So like I said, if you do live in the enhanced risk or the slight risk, make sure you do have ways to receive alerts today. Now, if we go ahead and look at the tornado threat today, as you can see, we do have a 5% risk for tornadoes across southern Nebraska back into northern Kansas, but also extreme northeastern Colorado will be included in a 5% risk for tornadoes today. And if you're wondering what that means there's a 5% chance of a tornado occurring within 25 miles of any given point. So if you do live in this 5% area, make sure you do have a couple ways to receive alerts and definitely have that tornado action plan in place if you do live in this 5% area, which is pretty much this brown area. But even if you live in the 2%, which again heads from the extreme northern United States and as well as the Canada border all the way down into the panhandle of Texas, also make sure you do have ways to receive alerts there too as well. Now, if we look at the wind threat, as you can see, we do have a 30% hatched risk for damaging winds in this red area right here, which does include most of the enhanced risk, just doesn't include extreme northeastern Colorado. But like I said, we do have a chance of some hurricane force winds too as well, and that's because of this hatched risk around that. Okay, so if you do live in this black outlined area, which also heads into Texas, you will have a chance of some 75-mile-per-hour winds or greater, which is up to hurricane force. So make sure you are securing your objects. Definitely have that tornado action plan in place, because sometimes winds can cause tornado-like damage. So make sure you do have that in place if you live in any of this black outline area, including Dodge City. But also, if you do live in this red area, which also does have that hatched risk, you have to make sure your objects are secure, because the chances of hurricane force winds are much greater in this red area, and that's because of how high the percent chance is. Now, let's go ahead and look at the hail threat too. As you can see, we do have a 30% hatched risk for large hail pretty much in this area. This one does include extreme northeastern Colorado back into central Kansas, but also as far down south as Goodland, Kansas will be included in a chance for some very large hail today. But even if you live in this black outline area, which does include Amarillo, Lubbock, Dodge City, back up there towards South Dakota, make sure you do have your cars in your garage, because we could be talking some hail over 2 inches in diameter. But especially do that if you do live in this red shaded color too as well, because I do think we will see some very large hail today. So that's today's severe weather threat. Now, if we go ahead and look at tomorrow's severe weather threat, okay, we just gotta go back to the regions again, and we are going to be going to tomorrow's severe weather threat. Okay, so this is pretty much for June 3rd, which will be on Monday. Like I said, this is going to be tomorrow. And as you can see, we do have a marginal level 1 out of 5 threat for severe thunderstorms, which is the lowest severe weather threat on the scale. So this isn't very concerning, but southern Wisconsin, back into Illinois, Missouri, even getting down there towards Wichita, Kansas, back into a pretty good part of Oklahoma, and as well as Arkansas, but also into western Kentucky and Tennessee, will need to be on the lookout for a couple of severe thunderstorms, which, like I said, isn't as concerning because it is the lowest on the scale, but still be weather aware if you do live in this green color. And the tornado threat is pretty decent. Okay, we do have a 2% risk for tornadoes across northern Illinois and southern Wisconsin, but we also got another area down here towards central and northern Texas, but also includes a pretty good part of western Oklahoma. So if you do live in one of these 2% chance of tornadoes, just have your tornado action plan in place just in case, but this isn't anything you got to take super serious. Wind threat, we do have a 5% risk for damaging winds in this black area. So if you do live in this brown area, make sure you do have ways to receive alerts too as well, because I do think some areas will see some damaging winds, but again, this is a pretty low threat, so still, make sure you do have a few ways to receive alerts, but overall not looking as concerning. But if we also go ahead and look at the hail threat, okay, we do have a 5% risk for large hail too as well in both of these brown shaded colors, which pretty much includes the areas that do have the tornado threat for tomorrow, and that does include southern Wisconsin and northern Illinois, and as well as central Illinois, but also down here towards western Oklahoma, heading down there into Texas. And that was pretty much tomorrow's severe weather threat. Let's go ahead and look at the excessive rainfall outlook for today. We do have a few areas to watch for. We got one heading from northern Washington, which does include the western part of Washington, all the way down into western Oregon. Will need to be on high alert for some potential flooding today, and I do think 2 to 4 inches will be possible in some areas. Now, just to the west of that site risk, we got another area that could see some flash flooding, pretty much west of Portland. We could be seeing another area getting 2 to 4 inches of rain, which does head from Seattle, Washington, all the way down into the west central part of Oregon. And we also do have even another area to watch for flooding. This is another site risk. This just includes central Idaho, and then we also do have a few more areas to watch for, which this area is massive. This heads from northern Minnesota all the way down into northeast Kansas, but even down here towards eastern Oklahoma and as well as central Oklahoma, but also down there towards central and northern Texas, including the Dallas-Fort Worth area, will be some more areas to watch closely. And then as we do head into tomorrow, we still do need to be watching up here in the northwest for some more flash flooding, which some of it today could linger into tomorrow, but also down here towards central Missouri back into northeast Texas will be another area to be watching for. And then as we do head into Tuesday, which will be after tomorrow, we do have another big site risk for flash flooding across northwest or northeast Oklahoma, getting all the way up here into northern Minnesota, which also does include parts of Canada. And then as we do head into Wednesday, okay, which will be the middle of the week, we also do need to be watching these areas too as well, and I wouldn't be surprised if we did see an upgrade to a site risk somewhere embedded in that. So right there would probably be the best area for a site risk to get issued, but even down here we could also be seeing another site risk develop too as well as we head into Wednesday, but that's a little bit far out, so things will likely change. And then day 5 we also do have another marginal risk for flash flooding across the northeast. Now for your total precipitation, as you can see, we do have quite a bit of areas to watch for. We do need to be watching the central United States, especially for some pretty big amounts of precipitation. So pretty much Iowa, Nebraska, eastern Colorado, back into Texas, but also the deep south like Dixie Alley will be the area to be watching the closest for some pretty good amounts. So pretty much 2 to as much as 5 inches of rainfall will be the main concern in this entire black area. And if you're wondering how far out this total precipitation goes, this goes from now all the way to June 12th. So we could be talking some very high amounts of precipitation, like I said, in this area right here that I circled about a second ago, from now all the way through June 12th. And then we also do have a few more areas to watch for, okay? Back up here towards the northeast, we could be seeing some pretty good rainfall totals from now all the way to June 12th, and that will definitely be another area to watch for. We can expect 1 to as much as 4 inches of rainfall in this entire area right here, as you can see, with maybe some localized higher amounts. So that will definitely be one big area to be watching for, like I said. So make sure you do have ways to receive flood alerts if you do live in this area. And like I said, from now all the way to June 12th, we could see some very high rainfall totals, and in between now and June 12th will be the best area or time for some flash flooding. So make sure you do have flash flood alerts. Now, if we go ahead and look at the severe weather now, as you can see, as of right now, nothing much going on across this area. I would probably actually want to choose the continental United States, but not anything going on in the Midwest as of right now, but down here towards the southern plains and as well as the central plains, we could have some pretty significant severe weather for today, and as you can see, that does increase as we do head into tomorrow. But as we continue to take this forward, it looks like we might see some severe weather as we do head into Wednesday, mainly across this area right here, as you can see. So this entire area right here could see some severe weather, and that's because supercell composite, meaning the chance of a supercell, which will be higher the number, the greater the potential for a supercell to form, which like I said will be in this entire area right here, and that will be as we do head into the middle of this week. And then as we continue to take this forward again, we will likely see more in the way of severe weather events. Even across the Ohio Valley could see a severe weather event as we do head into Friday, June 14th, which is quite far out, so things will likely change, and then even some more severe weather events do appear to be possible after that. But like I said, that is really far out, so do expect things to change. And now, if we go ahead and look at the Climate Prediction Center outlook, starting with the 6 to 10 day outlook, which will be from June 7th all the way to June 11th, we can expect some below average temperatures across much of the eastern United States, and it does sound like some areas like Mississippi, Alabama, and Georgia could get some temperatures at least 3 degrees below average. So that cold air is sinking down quite far, but this area right here that you see in the darkest shade of blue will be the best area for below average temperatures. So we could be talking some areas seeing as low as 10 degrees below average. Now back up here to the northwest, as you can see, we will be seeing some excessive heat across the northwest, because we are going to be talking well above average temperatures for the entire western United States. But even back down here towards the extreme southern United States, like southern Florida, back into southern Texas, will also be some more areas to watch for, and then we could be seeing slightly above average temperatures for the northeast. And again, this is from June 7th to June 11th, so about 4 days out from now is when this will start. Now, if we look at the precipitation, as you can see, we do have a pretty big area that could see some below average precipitation heading from the northwest all the way back down towards the Midwest, and as well as the deeper south will be one area to watch for below average precipitation. But areas south of that, like places like the western United States and as well as the Rocky Mountains, we could be talking some above average precipitation there, especially in these darker green areas. But even back up here towards the northeast, we could also be talking some above average precipitation too as well, and this also heads from June 7th all the way to June 11th. Now, if we go ahead and look at the 8 to 14 day outlook, which is a different time frame, this heads from June 9th all the way to June 14th. 14th. And as you can see, we will still be dealing with some below average temperatures in this area right here, as you can see, but even back down here towards the extreme southern United States and as well as the western United States will be an area to be watching for below average temperatures from June 9th all the way to June 15th. So make sure you are doing what you're supposed to do whenever there is excessive heat in the southern United States and as well as the western United States. Now for the precipitation, as you can see, let me go back for a second. Precipitation, we do expect two areas to see above average. We expect the northeast to see above average, which will be this area right here, and we also expect the western United States to also see above average precipitation, and again, that will be from June 9th all the way to June 15th. So thank you guys very much for watching. Hope you guys did enjoy my video. I know I haven't done a video for quite a few months, but I am finally back now after getting a new good looking camera, and my voice should also be sounding better too as well. So like I said, guys, I haven't done a video for a long time, but I am finally back now. So if you do like my videos, still make sure to click that subscribe button. Don't forget to leave a like, and we will certainly do more weather videos.